what is the hour of AI, right? Let's have an introductory video.
Welcome to the Hour of AI. Let's show how AI can strengthen creativity, critical thinking, and responsible use for every learner. The Hour of AI. We shift what's next.
Ayun. So the of AI is about shifting what is next because, as we all know, AI
Welcome.
is the next thing, is the future. So Hour of AI is actually a global movement to really make sure that every one of us is comfortable in using AI and that technology is for everyone. Hour of AI is part of the ASEAN Foundation's AI Ready ASEAN program. So hindi lang actually Philippines yung gumagawa ng Hour of AI, but the rest of the ASEAN countries as well. Yeah, and also it's in support with from google.org. Now, with that being said, I am a member of this nonprofit, non-government organization, Cyber Guardians PH, and Cyber Guardians is a local implementing partner of ASEAN Foundation in doing Hour of AI here in the Philippines. So there's actually like four NGOs. Cyber Guardians is one of them. Cyber Guardians in particular, our commitment is about co-creating a safer cyberspace for everyone, especially the children and the youth. Because there's a lot of cybersecurity issues, right? Like online abuse, exploitation, cyberbullying, misinformation, even digital addictions. And this is perfect, no, for AI kasi with AI actually as much as it is useful, it can also be unsafe for us as there can be a lot of deep fakes now, lots of misinformation that can be generated through AI. Now, for today's rundown of the agenda, I'll first talk about why AI matters, and I'll also show some use cases of AI based on actually the online registration that you guys had done. There was a part there, there was a column na sinabi nyo kung ano yung work nyo ngayon. So I actually used AI to know like ano yung majority of the group and anong para malaman kung ano yung use cases na magiging relevant for today's attendees. But before we begin, I know someone has already asked here. Let's first have a pretest. So this pretest is required if you would like to especially get the ano no the certificate at the end of this session. We'll have a pretest and of course a post test at the end. Those who answered both those tests will be the ones that will get the certificates only. So if you could please um scan the QR code or kindly type the link in your browser. And patulong na lang po sa pag-share ng link sa chat. Ayan, thank you. And then once you're done, just if you could kindly just give me a thumbs up so I would know if I should move to the next slide. Let's also do a poll, right? Just to check everyone's temperature. And I'm also going to use the responses here on how we can proceed with our session. So if you can kindly go to slido.com and then input the code, which is 1069409, or you can also scan the QR code so that we can see answers to these questions. Like first, I would like to know what are your go-to AI tools today? So just feel free to mention anything. It's completely anonymous, so if you're worried about that, you don't need to. Okay, I can see Grok, ChatGPT, Siri, Perplexity. Oh, I also use Perplexity a lot. Copilot. Grammarly, yes. Gemini, yes. Blockbox AI. SimSimi. Grabe, ang tagal na ng SimSimi. College pa ata ako nun. Notebook AI. Uh-huh. Card. Gizmo. CC AI. LLM. Well, I guess the generic term. Killbot. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. May gumagamit ng Zapier dito. So, that's good. Okay. Great. So, it seems like a lot of us have used this. No, there's like 21, 29, 30 now people that answered it. So just feel free to add lang din. Perhaps kasi 'di ba may mga hindi pa tayo alam dito na other users in this call can potentially use. Now, let's move on to the next question. Okay. Let me just go. So, alam ko na marami na sa atin ang gumagamit ng AI. Now, my next question is, what are naman some of your concerns with AI? Because as much as possible, we want to address those concerns. Data privacy, all right. No emotions, limited competitive job opportunity,
I'll be
false
packing stuff here.
information. Genuineness, being dependent, cybersecurity risks. Yes. Cheating, consistency, dependency. Okay. So a lot of us now, it seems like, are concerned with data privacy. I'm curious if it's about the data that you have. Is it your company's data or the data that the AI uses? Are those the concerns that you all have? So is it like your personal data? Tama ba? Is that the concerns in terms of data privacy, your personal data? Or is it like your company's data or anything else? If anyone can drop it's a chat, no, so that I could have more context. AI use frowned upon at work. Oh, that's interesting. By teachers, hallucinate, creativity. Okay, great. So it seems like, right, all of these are very valid and we all share the same sentiments. And we'll talk more about all of these things because actually we'll have touch points on all of these, but I'll highlight more data privacy later. So yeah, thank you everyone. I appreciate it. This will really help us navigate towards the session. Now, with that in mind, right, like what is AI or why AI matters? Let me just quickly play another video. Oh, and perfect. It's about privacy then. So you all are really gonna relate to this since most of us are concerned about data privacy.
I think ethics becomes more important as something becomes more impactful. And as AI becomes more impactful, the more that we have to think about the ethics of AI.
Artificial intelligence is ultimately built by human beings. Human beings can have very diverse motives for why they make something.
Unfortunately, there's a huge difference between those that are involved in creating these systems and those that are impacted by these systems.
So what we really want to think about long term is where is the society we want to get to, and how is technology going to help enable that? If if we think about that in the long term, we have a better chance of getting there than if we just try to develop the technology and then see what happens.
I have always been extremely inspired by the opportunity that robotics presents to enable us to do work that was too dangerous for humans, not possible for humans, or is done more effectively by a machine.
There have been millions of jobs that have really transformed because of the introduction of robots or AI, and that will continue to be the case.
As a result of that, when we design algorithms that are meant to replace people, we need to be attentive of how we do that and how we design those systems so that it respects those people and treats them with dignity.
When we think about artificial intelligence, we always put people first. We always think about who is that worker who's trying to get a job done and how can our technology help them?
What do we do in the long term? How do we retrain them for another job or another career?
As human beings, with all of our creativity and passion, we're going to continue to learn how to cooperate with artificial intelligence and have new jobs, have new job descriptions.
It is really important that technologists kind of have this mantra of ensuring that their innovation is ethical and is beneficial to everyone in society.
Machine learning requires a lot of true information to be provided to it in order to ultimately deliver a utility. This information might be very sensitive to us. It might be health related. It might be financial. It might be very, very personal.
We need to put checks and controls in place, like with any technology, that it's utilized to benefit us and that it is done with accordance to the law.
There's lots of gain from involving yourself in really understanding the details of how this technology works. Given that it's so impactful, given that it is something that will influence your life and the life of everyone that you love.
AI is really at this kind of early stage but has this huge potential to do good. And if you're young right now and you learn this stuff now, you could really end up being at the kind of crest of a wave of something that's really important.
Okay, great. So by watching that video, right, we can get actually a lot of insights already. First is that there's a lot of things that AI can do as of the moment and will continue doing. Like, for example, through AI, health risks can now be identified better and much faster than it was before. So, napakadali na lang or mas madali na lang magaling yung mga kapansanan na yon. Another thing is AI in farming. It's much easier or much more efficient now to plant and cultivate our crops to provide for more people. There's also AI in waste management, AI in water systems, a lot of benefits, not just in the corporate world, but also like economically. But at the same time, the second insight that we have in that video, right, and is what all of or most of you have mentioned earlier, is about data privacy. Because AI, its output is going to be based on the data that is collected from different sources, especially our data, our personal data. That's why it is important for us to protect our own personal data, and at the same time for the technologists, those that creates AI systems and tools, to build guardrails, making sure na our data is safe, protected, and it doesn't get personal data if it's not required or not part of that AI system. And then lastly, the third insight that I got in the video is, it is the future. It is not something that we can stop. We cannot say that, let's not use AI. There's actually tons of studies right now that shows the economic impact of using AI at work and at the economy. And even the ASEAN region had published some that shows how countries that adopted AI faster is expected to grow their economy much bigger. And Philippines is not at the top just yet. So we're hoping to achieve that when as much as possible, right? So with that in mind, let's dig deeper into the insights that we've gained from that video. Okay. So we're talking about AI right now, but as a matter of fact, AI has been around for decades now, like 1950s, 1960s. AI has been here because artificial intelligence is actually a broad term, right? It talks about tools, systems, inventions that tries to replicate the intelligence of human beings. So anything na we do that is replicated by a machine is what we call as artificial intelligence. So, for example, right, like in Facebook or even on Spotify, like pag mag-randomize kayo ng songs, bakit yung next song is yon? It's because according to the music that you listened to in the past, doon nagbe-base yung preference mo for the next song na masasuggest sa'yo. Similarly, let's say like nasa Facebook ka or TikTok when you're watching a video, the next couple of videos that you're going to watch is also going to be based from the previous videos that you have already watched. So let's say that you like to watch cooking videos. Then, the algorithm will then show you more cooking videos. And that's, a form of an AI powered tool. But it's also not just limited to that, right? There's also in emails, how can they identify that it's a spam or not? Also in our banking apps and all of that. So AI has been here. These are just some examples. But why is it that uh, AI has just been a buzzword recently lang, if matagal na pala si AI? It's because AI was democratized or became more available to everyone with the launch of ChatGPT. So starting 2022, when ChatGPT was launched, yung Gen AI tool na to, na-access na ng lahat. Dati kasi, AI, it's like, let's say, yung sa TikTok, right, and Netflix and everything, AI through that is only being done by major corporations or even by research papers or researchers rather through their research papers. But now, because of the launch of these Gen AI tools like ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, Grok, and everything else, the access to AI tools is not just limited to these experts. You and I can now use it. You and I can now benefit from it. And at the same time, you and I are now more susceptible to the harms that it can bring. With that in mind, also, by the way, if you have any questions, just go back to slido.com. Again, slido.com. The code is, let me double check. 1069409. So just go there. There's a tab there for questions, and then just like put your questions there so that I don't forget to answer it later. Okay? Okay. So knowing that AI has been here and it is continuing to grow, let us then check no what are the different use cases of AI at work. Okay? So here's a couple of examples. So this is based again from the list of attendees that I got for today's session. So a lot of us here are in education. So if you've joined yesterday's session, I hope you did. We have a specific session for educators. We also have folks here that are in the administrative line or in this as a support staff. We also have lots of job applicants here, and there's also government roles and specialized roles for the folks in this call. Now, going into each of these now, so for education, just to list down a couple of use cases of AI at work, you can actually use AI if you want to create lesson plans. Like you can easily use AI to brainstorm with you and help you with that admin task. You can also use AI to brainstorm in having differentiated instruction. So like if your bunch of students have different levels of, knowledge and expertise, you can differentiate your activities in your classroom very quickly with AI. You can also use AI to generate rubrics for you and to create quizzes for you. For our admin and support staff, you can use AI to ghostwrite or polish your emails, also to summarize documents, do data cleaning, and be a meeting assistant. So even here, no, sa tawag dito, the I can see na there were like people putting different types of AI tools to get the meeting notes for this call, which is perfect. That's like a great example on how AI can make our lives easier. Because you don't need not to manually type everything, right? To manually type everything and just listen to the call, and then at the end of that you'll have the meeting notes. I can see that there is also like a chat here by Ralph that it really helps barangay secretaries on the report. So that's another example as well on how we can use AI. Now, let me actually show you some examples later, no, like I'll demo some, but I'll just move here. So data cleaning, meeting assistant, for job applicants, you can also use AI to tailor your resume. I do this a lot because even if I'm not applying, I'm constantly updating my resume. And so you can use AI to, make sure that your resume fits the bill of whatever job that you're applying. There's also the use of AI in being a tutor and also to simulate an interview. And then lastly, for government and specialized roles, if you want to understand the policy more or to do like a sentiment analysis to a survey result or even doing a proposal drafting, you can do that through AI. So yeah, let me give now an example. So one of the favorite things that I do with AI is to use it to do data cleaning and sentiment analysis. I'm seeing, I'm sharing my screen, no, what do you call that? My Excel file? Okay, that's good naman. There we go. Yeah, so this is just a demo Excel file. The information here is hindi naman siya sensitive. Those are just random stuff, no? But basically here, oops, anyari. There we go. So basically here, we have the dates, the customer ID, kunwari the department, the feedback that we receive from them. Let's say this is like a survey, right? The status of their request. So in this use case, basically parang may nag-answer ng survey about the experience that they got in, purchasing a product or a specific subscription. Now, how could we use AI here? So one way that I use AI in Excel, and you can use this if you have Gemini or other sa Microsoft meron, then Copilot, I also use that. So here, all you have to do is select the column, and then let's say you want to summarize the feedback that you receive, right? So summarize the feedback. So just like a simple prompt like that to, so that you don't need to read each of the rows anymore. There's like lots of information here. So, okay, we can check here that the data set contains 100 entries. And here are the key themes. So sa support, sabi, according to feedback, mix of positive daw siya. And then there's also negative feedback. Like, meron nagsasabi na useless yung bot, agent was rude. Sa billing naman, there are frequent complaints about incorrect or unexpected charges. And then for checked out, these are the summary for sales as well. And this is good, right? Kasi again, like you don't need to read all of the rows anymore. This is just 100 rows, but imagine if these are thousands and thousands of rows, right? It makes summary of the feedback much easier to read. Now, for total refund then, so here you can see na inad na nga niya yung refund amount. Like, hindi na ako gumawa ng Excel formula here. Nandito na siya. And of course, you can always double check, right, if correct by yung information. And then from there, you can even create a pie chart, create a formula that counts the number of open feedback, highlight the rows. So let's say create a pie chart. Let's see if kaya niyong gawin. Okay, yeah, so we can see here, right, na most of the feedback coming from support and then from the billing department and from sales and everything. So as you can see, hindi na ako gumawa or nag-insert ng chart. We just had that prompt readily available. One other thing that I use AI when cleaning an Excel or when using an Excel file is cleaning the Excel file itself. So for example, here's a date. It's so annoying. There's like different formats. So what I do is I just say clean the date column. So from here, from this messy column, let's see what it can do. For the column by applying A2 to A3. Okay, so let's see if nag-work ba? Nag-clean ba niya? No, it didn't work. So that can happen then. So that's why you always have to check if the date column is cleaned or not. What if we say clean the table column A? Earlier, I was like trying to clean the table and it worked. And this time, it's now finding it difficult. So that could happen then. Because again, like AI is not yet perfect. As you can see right now, nagkaroon pa siya ng issues, right? So, in that way, you can always try to revert and not use it, but feel free to try it on your own. These are just some examples on how I used it, and you can do so much more pa rin. And my prompt is not just perfect kasi I made it just a simple prompt, but if I made it more complex, then of course it will get resolved. But yeah, that is how you can use AI into your Excel file. Oh, one thing I forgot to show, right? There are also like different tools here. Hold on, where is it? Yeah. So this is where you can do like a sentiment analyzer. So mangyayari is like each row masasabi if it's like a positive ba or a negative. Yeah. So we can do it here, for example. Let's just try to do it. Yeah, so as we wait there, these are just examples again, and it's still up to you how you want to use it. So feel free, and this is where creativity lies in, right? Because how we use AI is really up to us. So here sinasabi niya na okay, there's like a breakdown of the sentiment. Some positive, a lot neutral, there's also some negative, and again like a summary. It's really great personally for me, the summary feature, because again, I don't need to read everything. I can just summarize and then focus on the what to improve rather than reading everything. Other use of AI, right, is to draft like a memo. I think it was said earlier na it can be used in drafting memos and reports. So by the way, I'm using Gemini, but you can also definitely other AI tools as well. I'm just using Gemini because I have a subscription to Gemini. Yeah. So an example, right? One of the a more tedious task, at least for me, is sending out emails, especially like, reminding folks about certain meetings and everything, right? So instead of like me drafting everything, I can use AI to do that. So I can say draft a memo about, let's say, this is just an example, cybersecurity conference on February 17 to be sent to all, I don't know, the ICT employees. I don't know, just like a random thing that I have thought of, right? And then it will then make something up. It will have like the subject, so you don't need to think about that already. From wherever department it is, and then of course the details, key objectives, and then actions required. Of course, my prompt is very generic as what you can see. I didn't provide any other information. And one of the things that we can observe here is that AI has filled in the information for us. So this is not necessarily correct, right? Kasi hindi naman natin sinabi na it's 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It just showed that it is. I didn't even say the location. But even if that's the case, uh, you can already use this format and then just fill in the information that is correct, no? Like you can just copy paste that, you can check the time, the venue, the theme, if it, according to the correct details as well as the key objectives and action required. But at least for me, when I do this, I don't need to think about all of these details already. I just have to plug the correct information afterwards. Oops. Oh no, my coffee. It almost fell. Sorry about that. And then one other thing as well that I use AI for is correcting my grammar, especially if it's like a difficult or rather sensitive information, no, not sensitive information, or a sensitive situation wherein I really have to be careful with my tone para hindi magalit yung boss ko. So, I make sure na ginagamit ko dun si AI na, uy, can you make it more friendly? That's what I do. Can you make it more polite? Or can you make it more professional? My audience are executive senior stakeholders para yung simple paragraph ko magbago siya into like in a more professional tone, in a more or in a more friendly tone, depende sa tone na specify ko. Other thing as well, that I mentioned earlier is about resumes, no, or when you're applying for a job. So here's like a tip on how I do it. So let's say that you found a job online and it tells you like what are the like the job description. So what you can do is you can actually copy paste that job description. I don't have like a demo right now, so I hope you can imagine na lang on your end. So copy paste the job description. If it's a picture, just attach the job description, and then you can then prompt identify the key or identify the key skills required for this job. Check if my resume fits the job description. So I do that, like I copy paste the job description and then I attach my resume and then I ask AI now check the job description, check the skills required. Do you think na fit ako for the job? And then so AI will then assess my resume in comparison to that job description. If, it's not that good or if there's room for improvement, you can then ask AI, how can I improve my resume so that it fits job description better. So it will then, assess it for you so that you can then evaluate and make some changes from your resume. Kasi dapat talaga yung resume mo, hindi lang siya generic resume. Dapat kung ano yung job description, dapat yung resume mo related dun sa job description. Like, example, ang rami mo ng ginagawa, di ba? And naghahanap sila ng someone na good into data analysis. So, dapat sa resume mo, yung hina-highlight mo is your experience in data analysis. What if yung job naman is about client service or client operation? So, dapat yung i-highlight mo sa job description mo is your experience related to talking to clients. So, parang ganon. And then AI can help you with evaluating that so that you know what to highlight and what to improve. Another thing that you can do as well is that use AI to, what do you call that? What's the term? You parang mag-roleplay. There you go. To roleplay an interview. So what you can do here, let's say na I am applying for a job. What are the common questions HR will ask and how to prepare for it? So dito very generic, hindi ko sinabi kung ano yung job na I am applying. Kasi, to make it more relevant to everyone. Kasi there's always going to be like generic questions regardless of the role. So here are some general questions na people ask sa interviews, right? Like, tell me about yourself. Ano ba yung strengths mo? Ano ba yung weaknesses mo? Di ko alam if sa mga nag-apply na dito, meron bang natanong na ba kayo ng mga tanong na to? If yes, then you would relate, 'di ba? Na ito yung usually ng mga tanong. And yun pa, why do you want to work here? So knowing na these are some of the common questions being asked in interviews, you can already prepare how to answer it more effectively. So for example, into this, tell me about yourself. And ako, I also hire in my role kasi I always ask this also, like pitch yourself. Tell me about yourself. Kasi it's one way to get a grasp of who you are. So here, ang suggestion dito is to use the STAR method wherein you pitch yourself by always saying the situation first, the task at hand, what you did, and what's the result of your action. So, STAR method. So, from there, di ba, parang makaka-prepare ka na. Like, tell me about yourself. Like, hi, I'm Joe. I am an AI enablement manager. I've enabled X number of people in X number of days using this, blah, blah, blah. So, yun, parang action-oriented agad yung pagpapakilala ko. So, you can do that. There's also even here emerging trends in 2026 that could help you as well. And you can even, no, you can even use AI like assess my introduction, give pointers, how to improve. So again, ginagawa mong coach si AI on your job hunt. So let's say, I am Joe. Let's say I am a client support associate with experience on handling clients in the APAC region. Oops. So let's say na yan lang, right? Just a very random one. Okay, so here, nasabi niya, okay, it's a solid foundation. It's good. You defined your role and geographic expertise. But it currently sounds like a job title lang because it's very short. It's just two sentences. So AI then provided tips to improve, like I can lead with, how long I've been in that role or what are the successful things I've done or what are the tools that I have used, right? So here's an example on how to improve it. So I'm Joe. a client support associate specializing in the APAC region. Over the past 5 years, let's say, I focused on maintaining high retention rates by providing localized support and navigating complex cultural nuances for diverse client portfolios. Okay, this is a bit wordy, right? And it's always up to you pa rin how you would rephrase it and personalize it as your own. Kasi sa AI, hindi ka naman niya kilala. So here, what you can do is puwede ka lang kumuha ng tips like, "Over the past years, I've done this and this." Instead of using this word for word, 'di ba? Kasi hindi naman you have to make it realistic pa rin. You have to ground yourself on your own personal information. But again, we can use this as a guide, right? So yeah, there we go. So again, those are just examples, no, on how we can use AI into our work. And there's a lot more. That's just the tip of the iceberg. On our end, in my job, we also use AI in creating chatbots and generating or checking information, extracting information, scraping the web, and all of those things, automating things as well. So there's a lot of things that you can do. So if you haven't explored any of the solutions yet, the ones I've showed here are great starting point, but you are more than welcome to explore on your own. And it's really up to your creativity on how you would want to implement AI, if you want to. Now, the question is, I guess, why do you want to implement AI, right? Like, parang, bakit ba? Bakit natin kailangan? Kasi, I know that some of mentioned earlier, which is particularly interesting, no, na parang AI is frowned upon at work. That is personally interesting kasi all the big companies that I know of is moving into an AI-driven company. It's because there is proof now when AI is applied, there's higher net revenue sa company, the economy is also better, and all of that. Now, I know that that being said, AI is still not perfect. AI is still growing. That is why humans are very important in making sure that AI's outputs are correct. And also, I know that there's a lot of concerns about displacement, no job displacement about AI. Now, here's the reality on that. There would really be jobs that are going to be displaced by AI, but there will also be jobs that will be created because of AI. And the way I think about it is the world has always been like this. Before, when the internet has just started, right? There are different types of jobs available in the market, but because of the boom of the internet around early 1990s, right? There are now then roles that were born, especially in technology. And the world is always going to be like that. The constant is always going to be change, right? Change is the only constant thing that we have in this world. And therefore, what we can do as workers is to continuously adapt, upskill in this ever-changing world. Because that's the only way, right? I personally see it this way, that that's the only way
One,
we can
one.
survive. It's through that continuous.
Phil is one here.
So here's some checklist, or here's a checklist rather that I've created. This is based on studies by the World Economic Forum and OECD, and my personal experience. Then, this is a combination of all of that. This checklist that I created. So in here, to be AI ready, you have to be number one, fluent in understanding the different generative models. Number two, being an expert at prompt engineering. Number three, being literate when it comes to data analysis and perhaps being an expert even. Number four, knowing how humans and AI can effectively collaborate. And number five, continuous learning. Kasi yun nga, it life is always going to change. You have to continuously learn. Everything is, continuously evolving. Now, bakit natin kailangan malaman yung limang to or be an expert to be AI ready? I'll discuss each of the pointers here, but to give a brief overview muna. First, generative models fluency. Kailangan nating malaman what are the different models, LLMs, available so that we know what LLM to choose on what task to make that task more effective. So, generative models, these are just like tools, diba? You have to know what tool is perfect for what task you want to do. Kasi hindi ka naman gagamit ng, let's say, martilyo, ng hammer if yung purpose mo ay maglagari. So, similar to that concept, we must know what the generative models are and when to use which. The second point is prompt engineering expertise. So, what is prompt engineering? Prompt engineering is about how you talk to AI, right? Like how you communicate to AI. Specifically, how you communicate with Gen AI. Kasi if hindi mo alam paano makipag-usap, hindi ka rin makaka-receive ng magandang sagot. And that's what prompt engineering is, teaching you how to effectively communicate to AI. And I know a lot has mentioned hallucinations earlier, and it is through prompt engineering that you can also, avoid or minimize that. Third is data analysis and literacy. Why? Because again, AI, its output is based on the data it is fed on, and therefore data is central to the progress of AI. Fourth, human AI collaboration. Again, it's more of understanding how we can use AI to make us better, not AI replacing us. And then, as mentioned, continuous learning. Now let's go to generative models fluency. So, what are generative models, right? Just to give you a visualization, here's a breakdown on how it goes. As what I mentioned, AI, artificial intelligence, is such a broad term. It covers robots, it covers rules-based system, and of course, like the Gen AI tools that we are used to nowadays. Now, within that artificial intelligence umbrella, there's a subset called machine learning. And in machine learning, basically, instead of you telling the machine what to do every step, the machine is learning based on the previous interaction. So, if let's say, diba, si machine, sinabi niya na the apple is blue. That's incorrect. Tapos iko-correct mo siya. So next time, pag tinanong mo na naman siya, what is the color of the apple? Sabi niya, oh, the apple is red. So in that way, di ba, natuto na si AI from the previous mistake na it had. That's machine learning. And then within machine learning, there's this specific subset called deep learning. And here naman, yung pagkatuto ni AI, the way AI is learning, is not just like a simple machine or it's not just a simple apple is red. It's now connecting a lot of other information like, yes, the apple is red. Yes, the fish is in the ocean. Yes, the coffee is planted in this area of the country. So there's now a lot of information being networked around each other, just like how our brain works, because our brain works like deep learning works. Actually, deep learning is inspired with how our neurons work, where everything is interconnected. So that's why it's deep learning, and that's why you can see here, diba, na it looks like the neural networks in our brain. Now, within deep learning naman, we have Gen AI or generative AI. From the word itself, generative. Here kasi, AI can now create text, images, music, and videos. So dati, 'di ba? It cannot do that. But again, because of the release of ChatGPT and all, generative AI became this new trendy thing that we have. And within generative AI naman, we have LLMs or large language models. I like to think of it this way. So si Gen AI, paano ba siya nagagawa? Paano ba nakaka-generate ng image, ng text? It is because of the large language models. There are different models available. Large language models is, I would say, like the generic term for it. And then my different brands of LLMs in the market, like Grok, Gemini, uh, Chat GPT. So you can think of it as like si LLM, yun yung si phone. Yung different LLM brands, yun yung different brand ng phone. Like si Grok, then there's like Samsung, si Gemini, there's iPhone. So parang ganon, right? Now, why do we need to learn this? Again, we need to learn this kasi if we want to use AI effectively, we have to know how it works, right? And also how we can make ourselves feel safe online. By the way, this image is generated by Nano Banana. I know someone mentioned Banana earlier. So yes, this is one of Nano Banana's creation. My prompt is this: create an infographic on the breakdown of AI, machine learning, deep learning, Gen AI, and LLM. But of course, I double check then muna the output because before I place it here because that's an important thing. Kasi baka may mali, di ba? Now let's watch what machine or how machine learning works and more so relevant to the LLMs.
My name is Ale Flores, and I'm a product manager at Alexa.
My name is Dr. Chelsea Haupt. I work at the Allen Institute for Artificial Intelligence, and I work on an AI-powered academic search engine. All around you, computers are making decisions, and those decisions affect your daily life. When you do an internet search or scroll through your newsfeed, computers decide what you see. Computers can already recognize your face and understand your voice. And soon they'll be driving cars and detecting diseases even better than humans. So how is any of this possible?
You may have heard about something called AI, or artificial intelligence. True artificial intelligence is decades away. But there's a type of AI called machine learning that is here today. It's a type of AI you probably interact with every day without even knowing it. And it has the opportunity to help us tackle some of the world's biggest challenges.
Machine learning is how computers recognize patterns and make decisions without being explicitly programmed. What's so exciting is that it's a completely different way to program a computer than what we've ever done before. With machine learning, instead of programming a computer step by step, you can program a computer to learn just like you learn, through trial and error and lots of practice.
Learning comes from experience, and that's true for machine learning too. In this case, experience means lots and lots of data. Machine learning can take in any kind of data: images, video, audio, or text, and begin to recognize patterns in that data. Once it learns to recognize patterns in the data, it can also learn to make predictions based on those patterns, like noticing the difference between an image of a car and an image of a bicycle.
AI and machine learning are playing a bigger and bigger role in society at large and shaping all of our futures. That's why it's so important to learn how it works with some hands-on experience. Remember, AI is like any tool. First you get the knowledge, then you get the power.
Okay. Yeah, so some of my favorite quotes in that video are yung sinabi niya, machine learning works through trial and error. just like how we human beings learn. That's a very great way not to encapsulate how machine learning works. And another thing is it learns through lots and lots of data, like text, images, videos, and text. Oh, sorry, text, images, videos, and sound. So it is, again, very important for us to be knowledgeable on what we put online because that is how AI learns. Okay, so just to briefly talk about the process, no? Again, large language models, yun yung parang generic product term. There are lots of large language models available, some of which are, we have Gemini, we have Claude, ChatGPT, Perplexity, we have Meta. So those are the things that you've actually mentioned earlier. So those are powered by large language models. Now, how do large language model works? So from the term itself, diba? Large language model. First, large. It goes into training si LLMs with lots and lots of data. Again, going to training based on data ingestion, natututo siya doon. Now, pag may pinapakain na data sa isang LLM or large language model, yung data na yun is being divided into tokens. So, bakit siya dinidivide into smaller pieces known as tokens? Para mas digestible siya, para mas madali siyang kainin ni LLM. At para ma-predict din ni LLM yung next um, na term. Kasi how AI works, it really is all about probabilities talaga. That's why, as people mentioned kanina, it tends to hallucinate. Kasi, just like any probability, hindi naman siya 100% palagi, di ba? Even nga, like kung sinasabi, even nga sa alcohol, pag sa advertisement, it always says 99.9% of the germs, right? Ang nadi-disinfect. Hindi siya 100% talaga. Similarly with how AI works, it will hallucinate kasi it is all about probability. That is why it is very important for us humans to always check our work. And that is why also AI cannot really replace us kasi tayo yung checker. Now, how I envision the future is um there will be certain things that AI will do, and then there are humans that will check the output of AI. I see that as a trend moving forward. So, if that is the future of our roles, where us human beings are now the checkers of AI output instead of us doing the work itself, it is very important for us to learn how to check the output of AI. Kaya we are now learning, how to be AI ready. That's why we have this 5 checklist. Now, going to tokens and predictions and then parameters, of course, kasi ifa-fine-tune pa ng, let's say, ng AI, yung gumawa ng AI, ng LLM, yung gumawa ng LLM, ifa-fine-tune pa siya niyan, yung ng machine learning engineer, yung LLM itself for any other thing na needs to be improved on. Now, because of that, again, I just want to reiterate no, the limitations of AI. Number one, model dependency. So, pag ginamit mo si ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, all of that, pag ginamit mo sila, i-open mo sila, lahat, tapos magkaroon ka ng isang prompt, the output is going to be different into each of these models, right? Some model would answer brief lang, some model would answer very long, some naman would be like an average, some would be more creative in its output, some would have more generic AI voice. So very important na depending on how you would depending on your task, you must know what AI tool to use. So with that, laging tinatanong sa akin, okay, so paano ko malalaman what AI tool to use depending on my task? My suggestion is to go to this website, artificialanalysis.ai. So let me just open that real quickly, no? In here, It will then show you how the different AI tools are scored based on specific metrics. So para siyang ano, IQ. Kasi si LLM para siyang brain, 'di ba? So may IQ test din siya. Here, we can see na, oh, okay, ito yung top when it comes to intelligence, speed, and of course, like price. Then in terms of particular intelligence, ito, this is dependent on, yan, meron definition naman dito. If gusto mo yung magaling sa coding, may coding index then. And then if gusto mo yung magaling for your agentic solutions, may agentic index then. There are different things, like who's good at doing text to image, who's good at doing image editing, who's good at doing text to video or image to video. So you can compare no what tools. Just one thing to note at no na of course, like any IQ test, there can be bias for it kasi depende sa tanong. Let's say yung tanong is all about math lang, then of course, yung masasabi dito is, oh, ito si Gemini or whatever model, magaling siya. Kasi si model na yon expert lang siya sa math. Pero, hindi lang naman math yung tanong sa buhay, di ba? So that's one thing to consider when, when you look into these IQ tests. But at least it's a good starting point. And there we go. There are different metrics as well. And this also helps you in case you don't know yet other AI tools out there. That's like a good way for you to check what's out there as well. Okay, so again, just go to artificialanalysis.ai, or you will also have access to this deck later on. Now, moving forward, so we now went into generative models, fluency. The next into our checklist is prompt engineering expertise. Again, to review, what is prompt engineering? Prompt engineering is how to talk to AI tools. And it's very important for us to know how to talk to AI tools because how can you get the best result if you don't know how to talk to it, right? Like, babalik ako sa analogy na um, paano, let's say, magluto ka, di ba? Like, okay, nagluto ka. Pero of course, may different strategies, techniques para mas mapasarap yung luto mo. And that's what prompt engineering is. There are different techniques to get better results from AI. And as a matter of fact, prompt engineering is a growing industry. I actually started my AI career 3 years ago by being a prompt engineering expert. And because I was an expert in prompt engineering, I then grew into more AI role in our company and then, branched out from there into other AI roles that we have. But yeah, prompt engineering is a great starting point. There are already roles out there that is about prompt engineering. Now, here is an example, right, of a normal prompt. So give me ideas for a TikTok campaign for a reusable cup line. So let's say that you work in marketing and you want to have like a marketing campaign TikTok specifically for a reusable cup line. So if that's the case, I'll then just like go here, right? I'll go to Gemini. I'll just create a new chat. I'll just put it down, right? Da, da, da. I'll just copy paste this, no? Okay, give ideas for a TikTok campaign for a reusable cup line. And then let's see what the output is. Okay. So in here, it says that, oh, you need to pivot from traditional advertising. This is what you should focus on. Here are some suggestions, like focusing on the aesthetic part of TikTok. It can also be a viral format, in a viral format, or a video that is relatable or comedic. It can also be like educational and all of that. And there's also like strategy steps. So there's actually a lot of ideas now that you can get from here. But if you really want the output to be specific, to be designed, addressed to what you want, then you can use a prompting strategy known as the RTFD structure or the root prompt. So, hindi ko pa nalagay dito yung ano, but I'll just put it. RTFD structure, also known as root prompt technique. Now, I'm curious if anyone has heard this before. Can you give me a thumbs up for those that have heard this so that I would know lang my audience if you guys have heard this technique already? Give me a like if yes. Okay. Some folks have heard it. Great. Okay. Nice. So good now some of us have like a standing basis now on this one. So RTFD or rule task format details is one of the basic structures when it comes to prompt engineering. That's why it is also called as root prompt technique, root, ugat, because ito yung foundation ng any other advanced prompting na we can do. And later on, I'll show you other prompting techniques then, no? For those that already know this. So here in RTFT structure, here is what you can do. First, role. You have to specify the role that you have or the role that you are playing, that you want AI to play, its expertise, what tone or voice do you want it to use, and the perspective that is needed for the task at hand. And then the second component is task. So again, here you have to specify the task. You have to really be clear about it, specify the scope, identify the goal, and then mention the constraints. Like let's say, limited lang yung budget mo for this campaign. So, you can mention that para yung mabigay na suggestion sa'yo is budget friendly. Third component is format. So here naman, what kind of format ba do you want? Do you want an image? Do you want a video? The output type, the length, the audience. So you have to specify that as well. And then lastly, details or delivery. So here now you can put additional instructions, what to avoid, what to prioritize, what to use. Now, how will we apply this into our normal prompt? So in here, we can say this. So we can say na in this particular use case, now we can say that our role, you are a social media brand manager with expertise in Gen Z marketing. Kasi let's say na that your audience is Gen Z, di ba? But of course, if yung audience mo is Gen Alpha or Millennial, you just have to make that change. Then second, task. So we have here the clarity, scope, goal constraints, right? And here I said, develop a 3-part TikTok campaign series concept for a sustainable coffee brand, prompting the reusable cup line. So here I provided more information on the request. I said, oh, I want a series, hindi lang isang video. Sa format, gusto ko na meron kang video concept, meron ka ding suggested audio, kasi 'di ba sa TikTok, if gagamitin mo yung trending sound, mas nakikita yung video. And then third, sorry for that typo, primary call to action for each of the 3 parts. And then for the details, the campaign must focus on the theme of reducing waste only. So as you can see, nilagay ko doon, reducing waste only para si AI, mag-focus lang yung output niya into reducing waste. Hindi na siya mag-suggest ng any other thing na I don't want to focus on. It will also help, AI to focus. Now, bakit natin kailangan maging detailed sa prompt natin? So first of all, hindi naman natin kailangan maging ganito kahaba every time. Depende naman yun sa task natin. Pero if yung task natin to automate workflow or, if mas mabigat yung tasks natin, then this is where we use these prompting techniques. Now, let's do that, no? Let me just do this primary. Okay, so here I'll just copy paste this. Oops, Control Z, Control C. Uh, Three. Okay. Let's actually do a new one. Duplicate. Okay. So here, um, right, your role, ano yung task ko, or ano yung task ni AI, right? Develop this. Ano yung format. Ako gusto ko siyang ginagawang ganito just to make the example or the prompt clear. But this is just like a, oops, make it primary. And then here we go, details, primary. Haha. Then let's see, right? Okay. So yeah, here it's now created into table, and then again, it's now formatted the way I want it to be ready na to be showcased to my boss, to my manager for checking. So we have here like, okay, this is what the sorry, AI has suggested na ito muna, ito yung first part, ito yung second part, ito yung hook. This can be like the audio now you can use, and this is like the call to action, as you can see there. And of course, if hindi ka satisfied into it, generate five more ideas of this three-part series. Oops. Right. There we go. So yeah, and then it will then generate options for you. So from there, like you can choose. So you can always refine the output of AI naman. And yeah, that is an example on how you can use the RTFD method is what we can see, right? Yung kanina, yung output, it's not really focused on what you want. That is about like reusable cup line. In the next the output here parang mas ano na siya mas centered na siya sa goal natin dito lang flinex yung echo part, so it's just like one of the suggestions but not to all of the suggestions. Okay, with that I actually want us to start thinking, no, this is a challenge for everyone. So think of a task you do every week that takes 30 minutes plus, but feels like busy work. So I want you to use AI and RTFT structure to make it more efficient, right? I'll give you a couple of minutes to do this. 7 minutes perhaps. Let's go back. 10:25 a.m. And if may naisip na kayo, if you could please share it sa chat para mabasa ko and para rin matuto yung mga attendees dito. Again, I'm going to give you 7 minutes to think of something that you do at work that you feel like you can use AI for. If you have that something, use the RTFD structure to get like to create a better prompt. And once you have that better prompt, put it in the chat so that I can read and, you know, check later. All good, everyone? Any questions? Okay, if none, again, if you do think of any question, just feel free to go to Slido here, right? We have here the Slido.com 1069409, and then from here you can like do the Q&A. You can keep yourself anonymous so that you know, if you want to keep your personal information private. But there we go. See you later. giving it back to Ralph and Jakey then.
Well, thank you, Miss Joe. So we encourage everyone who's attending this session to please do the challenge that is given by Miss Joe while we're taking a break. And we'll be back at after 10 minutes, I believe. Yes. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I hope na you all get to stand up, stretch, drink some water, go to the bathroom. Okay, anyone would like to share any of the problems that they have? If anyone could share it to chat so that, we could take a look who are our brave souls in here. Thanks. Thank you, Rosie, cleaning up and organizing messy weekly team meeting notes. Anyone else who followed also the RTFD structure? Anyone else would like to share? Angie shared. Okay. Okay, so it's a role, department, information officer, task. Okay, information drive. Uh-huh. Format. Okay. Yeah, so you can definitely use, thank you so much, Angie, for sharing. So you can definitely use the RTFD structure, right? With regards to creating Facebook posts. So let's say also, 'di ba, if yes, kanina what we did were videos, pero let's say na it's just a post or an infographic. So you can also specify that in your prompt na you want an infographic or you want a photo or anything like that. So for example, 'di ba, I can go here. This is what you can do as well. So let's say na you do posts sa FB. I'm gonna stick into that example. Thank you again, Angie. So let's say create an FB post sent out from, let's say, the ACT pa rin. I'm just gonna stick to that. Sent from it about online safety for the youth. Okay, so very basic, no? Yung okay, so meron na siyang ganyan. Actually, if tinatamad talaga kayo, what you can do is you can also do this, improve my prompt using RTFD structure. There you go. So yan, so parang may basic, may gusto kayong gawin ni AI pero hindi nyo pa alam kung paano gawin yung role, task, format, detail, structure. So you can also use AI to improve the prompt. So in here, 'di ba? Here you go. Then yung format, nasabi na. So once you have that, you can also then use this. You need to copy. And then let's say you have a new Gemini tab. And then just paste it. So basically, you used AI on how to give better instructions to AI. So very ano no, philosophical, pero yun, ginamit natin si AI para ma-improve kung paano natin kausapin si AI. And actually dito, nakapag-generate na siya ng image. Of course, you have to, ano no, double check this and wag tayong gumamit ng AI generated image um if hindi natin sila na-double check and also if magiging public siya, I highly suggest na gawin niyo na lang talaga siya. Parang ano lang 'to, inspiration. Kasi hindi mo 'to may edit, eh. Like tingnan mo mali 'to, like Moga, idol natin kabaatan. So mali yung ano, yung mga words. So this is more of like a template lang na you can use na, okay, perhaps I can use like a similar design if stuck ka na, wala ng creativity juice na nagfo-flow sa brain mo. You can do that. As a starting point. And that's naman talaga what AI is for, to help us, right? It's not meant to replace us, it's meant to help us so that we can have better ideas. Activity design, summarizing minutes of the meeting, yes. Medical bills, yes. State announcing reports, consolidation of data, plan, going right raw mess in order to then extract key decisions made. Yeah, okay. Abigail had a great example as well here, where it's like a project manager. Meron pa siyang format, which is a markdown document, must be concise. Okay, great. Yeah, that's a good example using RTFD method. She also has another one here, communications lead role, present, clean, okay, format, project health, all of that stuff. Okay, good. Piolo also here have, okay, siya naman a budgeting specialist, budget proposal. Yes, the format then is also here. And details. Oh, I like this one. It says avoid jargons, try to be straightforward as possible, but still has some inspirational remarks, especially on how the program will benefit the target recipients, consult and use as basis latest available research and studies conducted from 2022 to 2025. Great, kasi nag-set ka rin ng range ng date mo. This is really good. Da-da-da. Yes, you can make your own sa Canva. It's much better that way kasi you can make edits. You can specify it, no? And of course, kasi pag lalo na dito na ipo-publish mo to publicly on a government page, so dapat 'di ba meron tayong rules and regulations, guidelines sa mga posts natin. So hindi yun mare-rely sa AI generated. But at least you can use this as like a guide on how it can look like. And yeah, okay. Da, 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 da. Look at cities, counselors, create laws, and all of that. Yeah, I hope so too, Ralph. I hope so too. Do this as an output names only for again. Yeah. Those are great examples, and I also definitely use uh these as well. If relate lalo na yung project management because I do project management as well. So I really say, I'm a project management expert, all of this thing, blah, blah, blah. Now, I know it can be lengthy, no? Like, baka isipin nyo, gawin ko na lang, bakit ko pa kailangan mag-prompt ng napakahaba? It's, of course, you have to check if, like, kaya siyang magawa in 5 minutes without AI, then perhaps you can, do that instead. But there are certain things na it would take hours, but with the use of AI, it can now take into minutes, such as again, like having structures on your reports, having that initial creative idea that you could select from, or ideas that you could select from. Also, like cleaning your data, and everything else that you all have mentioned in here. So it's really up to you. And one other thing that I do know is um here I actually save my chats so that like I can go back into it. So para later, like I don't need to start from scratch ulit. I'll just go to that specific chat conversation I have wherein I had all of those information na had this very long prompt and then babalik-balikan ko na lang siya if may similar task ako nito. So you can actually just do like a one long RTFD prompt and then just go back to that chat every time you want to use that prompt. So to make your life efficient, 'di ba? In this way, what you're doing is nagkakaroon ka na ng assistant. Si AI, nagiging assistant mo na siya, right? Ako, ang ginagawa ko, yung pagda-draft ng emails, bumabalik lang ako sa chat, like, meron akong instructions kanina or matagal na, like, months ago, may instructions na ako. Tapos binabalik-balikan ko na lang siya if I want to draft like a similar email, then, copy paste it and then do the corrections na on Gmail or Outlook itself. So that's what you can do. You can create lots of assistants through AI. What's really important is your creativity so that you know when to use it. And of course, your critical thinking, double checking if like what you are using it for is correct. Now moving forward, right? So we have prompt engineering expertise. Into that. Oops, here we go. Okay. Oops, tapos na tayo nag-break. So I'm gonna move here. The third, if I go back here, no, the third thing in our checklist is data analysis and literacy. People have mentioned earlier the importance of data privacy, and that is really true because, again, as mentioned, the output of AI is based on the data that it is fed on. So, to visualize that even better, let's actually watch the video.
Machine learning is only as good as the training data you put into it. So it's super important to use high quality data and lots of it. But if data is so important, it's worth asking, where does training data come from? Often, computers are collecting training data from people like you and me without any effort on our part. A video streaming service might keep track of what you watch, then it can recognize patterns in that data to recommend what you might want to watch next. Other times, you're directly asked to help, like when a website asks you to spot street signs and photos. You're providing training data to help a machine learn to see and maybe even one day drive. Medical researchers can use medical images as training data to teach computers how to recognize and diagnose diseases. Machine learning needs hundreds and thousands of images and training direction from a doctor who knows what to look for before it can correctly identify disease. Even with thousands of examples, there can be problems with the computer's predictions. If X-ray data is only collected from men, then the computer's predictions may only work for men. It may not recognize diseases when asked to diagnose the X-ray of a woman. This blind spot in the training data creates something called bias. Bias data favors some things and deprioritizes or excludes others. Depending on how training data is collected, who is doing the collecting, and how the data is fed into the computer, there is a chance that human bias is included in the data. By learning from biased data, the computer may make biased predictions. This can happen whether the people training the computer are aware of it or not. So when you are looking at training data, ask yourself two questions. Is this enough data to accurately train a computer? And does this data represent all possible scenarios and users without bias? This is where you, as the human trainer, can play a crucial role. It's up to you to give your machine unbiased data. That means collecting tons of examples, often from lots of different sources. Remember, when you pick and choose data for machine learning, you're actually programming the algorithm using training data instead of code. The data is the code. The better the data you provide, the better the computer will learn.
Okay. So, very insightful, the very last thing she said. The quality of the data provide shows how good then the output of the machine or how good the machine will learn. So that's why again very important in data kasi as we mentioned earlier how AI works, the very first thing is nagtitrain si AI from the data that we give to AI. Now with that being said, I'll skip this activity no kasi this is for kids and for students, but if you want to play this game if you haven't, just feel free to take a screenshot or copy the get the link and then the code. But this is more of an activity for students. It will show them how AI is learning through having those data points being fed into it. So yeah, again, I won't go into the activity itself, but if you want to play it, because it's really a game, and actually, tawag dito. So just a side note, no, recently there was this project Agapay, um, launch last Friday. So it was like a week ago. And so we were there. And then, the president was there, Department of Education was there as well, and QC Mayor was there. So when they went to us, this activity yung pinakita ko, kina BBM, kina Sonny Angara, and Joy Belmonte. So if you guys want to play that same game that I showed to them, then you can go to the link. Okay. So, bakit? Or rather, ano na yung kailangan nating gawin knowing na data is important, right? There are different ways that you can look into it. So first is your personal data. So knowing that AI learns through the data that it collects, it is then important for us to secure our personal data and also to secure our clients' personal data. So our personal data, right? Like what we put on Facebook, what we put on any social media sites, right? We have to make sure na what we put out there, we're confident na it's okay lang for AI to learn it. If we're not confident to make it, for AI to know it, then, let's not post it. The second thing is securing our clients' personal data. So this is very important at work kasi this has legal implications, no? Make sure na let's say meron kang Excel file, right? Or whatnot. Make sure na hindi mo siya like ina-attach sa any AI tool if pag personal data siya. Kasi again, it is against the law, di ba, na we give out information to external parties. So that's one thing to consider. Again, do not put your client's personal data into AI unless it is regulated by the company itself. Kasi meron din namang enterprise AI solutions. For example, like us, we have an agreement with Microsoft. So, like, hindi nabibigay yung personal data ng client kay Microsoft. The second perspective that we can have is training data of models. So, ito na yung sinasabi kanina sa video, no, na depending sa pinakain na informasyon kay AI, it can lead into bias or it can lead into hallucination. Kanina pinoint out na, no, let's say na yung information, yung medicine na to is effective daw, pero tinest lang siya sa male testers or sa males lang. So even if sinabi na, oh, effective siya, but that's just like 50% of the population, kaya it can lead into bias. Depende again sa pinakain na information, yung pagiging bias niya. Kaya kayo, if merong ano dito, mga nasa tech roles, if you are creating LLMs, let's make sure that the data that we're training it on is inclusive. Another thing is again, AI can lead to hallucination because output of AI is all about probabilities. Um, that is why it is very important for us to practice the human in the loop framework. What is human in the loop? From the word itself, humans, we should always be in the loop. We should always be checking, auditing, verifying the output of AI. Now, I bet people are asking here in this call, like, oh, pag mag-check lang pala, like, what's the point then if we're always going to check AI's output? From my perspective, that's great because that means that AI is not meant to replace us because we are meant to still check the output of AI. AI is just meant to make our lives easier. And there's a lot of things that AI could really help make our lives easier. I'm gonna give an example, no? Like before, part of my job is to send out calendar invites to different people na may different schedules all throughout the day. And it's very hassle, diba, to like send out calendar invites like different time blocks per hour, different person for the rest of the quarter. So what I did, I went to the AI tools that we have, and then I search, is there a way to automate this? And apparently there is. There is a way through macros and Excel. I haven't tried macros pa before, but through AI guided me how to do the macros myself. So with that, I created like an Excel file na with just one button, automatic masisend out na yung calendar invites to different people in different hours for the whole quarter. So that like saved me tons of time, tons of manual effort because AI taught me how to automate it through macros. And it was my first time doing macros. And up until now, that Excel file was still used, even if I was already working another team. The previous team that I have is still using that file. So that's one way that you could think about it. Perhaps what you can do is you can look into what you're doing daily and then ask AI, what can I automate or what can I use you for to make my life easier? So you can also ask that. Now, lastly, training data of your company. Now, I bet a lot of the folks here are asking, how can I make my workflow or my company AI ready? Or perhaps you have like your business or you're thinking of creating your own business and you want it to be AI ready as well to make it more efficient. Like, you can create agents now in a chatbot na like hindi na talaga mismo tao yung sumasagot muna, parang meron ng chatbot muna na AI powered. And then if hindi talaga masagot AI powered, dun lang pupunta sa customer service. So if you want to create that, any AI powered tool, if you're a businessman here or someone that's working in a corporate or even the government and all other communities, the very important thing is to make your data AI ready. Because again, the AI, its output is based on data. So you have to make your data AI ready. What does that mean? Clean your data. Make it comparable to each other. Kanina, 'di ba, dun sa demo file na pinakita ko, the dates, the dates are like very different, different yung format niya. So to make it AI ready, dapat yung format ng all of the info that you have is the same. Dapat if may SOPs ka, locate lang siya into OneDrive, tapos dapat similar yung standard ng structure ng documents mo. In that way kasi mas madali siyang mabasa ni AI. Kasi imagine mo, tao nga nahihirapan if like, pupunta ako sa folder na to, folder na yan. Paano pa si AI, 'di ba? So you have to make your data AI ready if you want to your company or your tools to be AI ready as well. So yeah, as I said, centralize your data, automate quality checks, that's very important too. And then lastly, establish your data governance framework. So I'm not sure if anyone here works on that side, but that's also one very important thing, no? Like your pipeline. I wouldn't go into the technicalities of it, but yeah, check your data governance framework. Oops. Okay, so that's the data analysis and literacy. Also, one other important thing, no, since um, AI is powered by data, it is then very important for us to know how to collect data correctly, how to analyze data, how to visualize data. So, if you're looking for upskilling, I would really suggest data analysis. That's like that would still be a growing part of the industry. Now let's go into human AI collaboration. In this juncture, no, I would like us to watch a video and see if we can identify what is AI and what is not AI. Let me know ano yung points nyo. Okay?
See if you can tell the difference between what's real and what's AI. Which chair is AI? This one. Is this bridge real or AI? It's real. Which purse is real? This one. Oh, no, this one. Sorry. This is a potato. Which duck is AI? This one. Which is the real pirate statue? This one. Oh my God, is this cockroach real? No, it's AI. This bridge. It's AI. Is this bench real or AI? It's AI. It's actually a different bench that looks like a cow. Isn't that great? This statue, it's real, but I can make it AI. Is this lamp AI or real? It's real.
Okay. May naka-perfect ba sa atin? Or did some made some mistakes? I personally made some mistakes when I first saw it. I just want to check no how good are we in identifying if what we see is AI or real. Anyone? Just feel free to drop it sa chat na lang then. If you guys scored. And it was audible naman, no? I'm hoping it was. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Jocelyn. So there could be, you know, some of us or most of us would find some of the examples a bit difficult in identifying if it's AI generated or not. And that's completely normal because nowadays it's getting more and more advanced how AI images and videos are being generated. So what can we do then, no? So to give an example, here's one thing as well na you should be worried about. AI can be used in generating fake receipts. Like let's say may nangutang sa'yo tapos mag-send ng na nagbayad na ako, ito yung screenshot. That screenshot can be fake, can be AI generated. So you have to double check if nahulog na talaga sa account mo. So that's just one example of scam that could happen that is, powered by AI. So here are some AI powered threats, no? So as I said, scams, hyper realistic scams like fake receipts and whatnot. Other threats are deepfakes and impersonations. I bet you saw a lot of videos on TikTok and Facebook na like, katawan ng ibang tao, mukha ng ibang tao, as if ginawa talaga nila yon pero hindi naman. So that's one thing as well na we should always check. And we can always check that through verifying the source, double checking other resources, kung nangyari ba talaga yon para hindi tayo ma-fake news. And then lastly, in a more sophisticated manner, AI can also be used in data poisoning. But basically, this is for more for AI systems. So how can we prevent ourselves for deep fakes? Let us watch this video.
I am not Morgan Freeman, and what you see is not real.
Did you notice this wasn't a real video? It can sometimes be difficult to spot AI-generated videos known as deepfakes. That is, digitally manipulated content where a person's face, expression or speech is altered by AI.
I think as of today,
if it's reasonably good, it's going to be very hard for the average person to detect it by just listening to it or watching it. I see a lot of people ask me, what are the cues I can look at?
Some things that might be helpful now are to look for videos that might be pixelated in particular areas that are blurry. And sometimes if an image just looks too good to be true, it might actually be fake. When a deepfake is made, it's made on available data, available images. And so the default of an artificially generated image tends to be pretty and pleasing, right? So things that might look abnormal might actually less likely to be deepfaked. But the models are changing. And if somebody realizes that a tip might be a deepfake doesn't blink, then everyone will look around and see that it doesn't blink. And then suddenly we'll have a new method where people are blinking.
We're entering an era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time.
If you actually want to have a very good detection system, you have to run a whole series of detection techniques to be able to analyze a particular video or audio.
Deepfake detection tools are technical tools that run kind of the meta-analysis of the video and the audio to see if there's any alterations in between the frames or maybe in the audio. And so they're models that are just looking for the probability that something has been altered. Most deepfake detection tools are just going to give you a likelihood that something is faked, and a good deepfake detection tool might tell you where it's been faked or where something looks suspicious. So then somebody that's using the tool can then go follow up and investigate that further.
Imagine this for a second. One man with total control of billions of people's stolen data, all their secrets, their lives, their futures. Whoever controls the data controls the future.
When it comes to regulating deepfakes, there's discussions about how should we hold platforms responsible if they know that a deepfake is there. And I do think that the appetite for regulation of large social media companies is changing, but how do you do that? And then how do you enforce it? And that's the really big question about some of the policy recommendations that people have is how are we going to enforce it and what are the penalties for violating it?
This is like an arms race. The people making the synthetic media and altered media are going to get better and better, and the detection methods will get better and better. But there's going to be a point where I'm a little bit worried. I also believe that we may get to a point in our society where you can't believe anything unless you've seen it with your own eyes or you get the content from some really trusted third party.
I would like to welcome you to the era of synthetic reality. Now, what do you see?
Okay, so that's an example, no, on how good deepfakes are already and what we can do to look and see, identify which ones are AI generated or not. But as what was said there, no, it will keep on improving and the detection systems tools will keep on improving as well. As users, what's important is to be careful on what we put online. If, if we're confident na okay lang siya, magamit potentially. So that's one thing to take into consideration. The other thing as well, right, is to make sure yourself na you wouldn't do harm into others. Kasi at the end of the day, it's not because of AI, it's because of the people that are using AI that we are having these. So AI is just a tool. Now, here I want to emphasize, right, that AI is just a tool. It's not a competitor. It's more of an assistant for you. And it's up to you how you want to use that assistant. You can use that assistant positively or negatively. There are different strengths of AI, such as its speed, its scale, like di niya na kailangang magbasa ng 50-page, kaya nang i-summarize it for you. Like, that's one of the benefits. Um, but it is still up to you to be creative and to be intuitive. One way you can practice your creativity, right, is through prompting. Because at the end of the day, it's language, diba? It's how you provide a story and instruction. Kaya the creativity and language that we have is still necessary because we need that in order to instruct AI better. The second naman is, AI. Yes, it's good at pattern recognition, but it's up to us to determine how are we going to use the patterns that it was recognized by AI. So that's where judgment and ethics comes in. And of course, our empathy and relationships as well. What AI can do is just do repetitive tasks, but it is up to us to then build that connection. So actually, I'm going to show like a report later that shows the future jobs in 2030, and the common core skills that's gonna prevail in the next decade are those human-centered jobs. What do I mean by that? Human-centered jobs, yung kailangan ng empathy and relationship to get the job done. So it can be either like training or mentoring, so education, 'di ba? Um, building relationships to clients, right? Doing sales work. So any job na allows you to build relationships to human beings, that is getting to be more important. And then lastly, there's prediction. Magaling si AI done, but it can only predict based on the parameters that you provide. And ikaw, whatever your job is, you can be an accountant, you can be a project manager, you can be a computer engineer, ikaw ang may alam ng context. Kasi at the end of the day, ikaw pa din yung expert. Alam mo kung ano yung kailangan mong iutos kay AI. And yun naman talaga siya. Like, hindi mapapalitan yung expertise mo. So therefore, the more expert you are, the better you can use AI. So you have to continuously grow your expertise pa rin. And again, do not forget human in the loop framework. Just want to reiterate, no, human in the loop framework. This framework is making sure that we human beings are checking the input output of AI in every step of the way. So this is more of like you're an AI ML engineer where you can put HITL, human in the loop, into every step. But us as simple users, we can always check the output of AI before we use it into anything else. By the way, this image is also generated by Gemini Nano Banana. This is the prompt that I provided. Now, how do we practice human in the loop framework through our prompts? So here are some prompting techniques. Number one, iterative prompt refinement. What it basically means is hindi ka magsisettle sa sagot na isa, right? If may changes ka na kailangan, you would then have to communicate and have additional prompts. So, going back into our example earlier, no, so we have this, right? Ito yung, oops, hindi pala, ito pala. So, ito yun, di ba? Let's say may kailangan kang i-improve dito, feel free to communicate it to AI para mas ma-perfect yung sagot niya. And that's what you called iterative, hold on. Let me just close this. Iterative prompt refinement. The second thing is chain of thought. So this is a great prompting technique. Basically, what you just need to say is show your analysis step by step. Yun yung kailangan mo. Like, i-copy-paste mo lang to or i-reword mo lang siya. Pero ito talaga yung concept. Sabihin mo, show your analysis step by step. Kasi in this way, ang gagawin mo is basically, i-ask mo si AI na ipakita yung solutions niya. Na hindi ka lang bigyan ng sagot, ipapakita niya sa'yo paano siya nag-arrive sa sagot. Like step 1, ito yung ginawa ko. Step 2, ito yung ginawa ko. Step 3, ito yung ginawa ko. At ito na yung final result. So yan yung tinatawag na chain of thought prompting. Maganda to kasi you are seeing how AI is thinking in real time. And then you can then correct each step of the way, right? So let's get an example, no? Um, ta ta ta. Let me think. Provide the top 5 ASEAN countries based on GDP. And then, sasabihin ko yung chain of thought prompting, I'll just say, show your, what is it again? Show your analysis or show your analysis step by step. Let's see. And then let's compare this if yung sinabi ko lang is this one. Me copy paste that. Okay. Okay. So in here, pag simple lang yung prompt, like I just want to get like a list, papakita lang niya yung list, right? Ito yung top 5 ASEAN economies and all of that stuff, and then may key insights siya. But if we say, pag dinagdag natin yung show your analysis step by step, dito ipapakita niya sa'yo kung paano niya talaga ginawa yung sagot. So step 1, in-identify muna ni AI sino nga ba yung mga ASEAN member states. So dito nilagay. So here check mo na. If may mali sa sagot na to, sasabihin mo, AI, mali yung step 1 mo ha, ito yung tamang sagot. So mado-double check mo si AI. Then step 2, kinuha niya yung nominal data. So nandito siya yung pointers niya. And then step 3, in-analyze niya. And then step 4, ito na yung final ranking niya. You can even make this better, no, by saying, show your analysis step by step. Provide sources as well. So very important din yung mag-ask ka ng sources. Kasi yun nga, si AI nag-hallucinate siya. Kaya you have to make sure na yung information na kinukuha ni AI ay totoo. By the way, ba't nga ba nag-hallucinate si AI? Ba't siya nagkakamali? Si AI kasi, people pleaser siya. Ayaw niya na wala siyang masagot sa'yo. Kaya gumagawa siya ng kwento. So, ayun lang. Here, let me actually close this. Ano nangyayari dito? Okay, there we go. So here, 'di ba? May sinabi na siya dito, galing pala siya sa IMF and World Bank. Tapos ito yung top 5. Oh, sorry. Dito, you can even provide sources and link. Okay. So pwede mo yang gawin. Pero ayun, just by saying show your analysis step by step, you're actually already double checking the output of AI. Kasi yun nga, it's going to show you its analysis. First thing, ito yung ginawa ko. Second thing, ito yung ginawa ko. And this is what we call chain of thought prompting. This is really beneficial, especially if you're doing extracting of data, like let's say, yun nga, kumukuha ka ng list, 'di ba, para ma-double check mo if tama ba yung information. Good din yung technique na to if let's say, you're doing calculations, like equations, 'di ba, para ma-double check if tama ba yung equation. Even if you're doing like summarization of reports, pwede mo din gawin yun. Siguro hindi lang siya as effective if like brainstorming or if you're asking for creative ideas. Kasi doon naman, di ba, like, hindi naman needed to check the steps. Kailangan mo lang naman i-check yung steps pag like, ano eh, like yun nga, math related or may sources related na you have to double check. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. But feel free to let me know if you have questions. Now, Another technique that you can do to practice human in the loop framework is to do self-correction. So in here, all you have to say is review and assess your previous output based against the following criteria. So let's say, 'di ba, parang tawag dito, you say this like draft an email to the DOH, let's say, about an ongoing flu vaccine shortage. Yan. So, palang. You just want to draft an email. So, para ma-apply this technique, this self-correction technique, what you need then to do is basically sabihin mo lang, assess your output and see what you can improve and why. So basically, sinasabi mo siya, may utos ka, may output si AI. Then yung next na sasabihin mo, pa-check ka ulit yung output mo, tingnan mo nga if meron ka pang may improve. Tapos si AI, magsi-self-correct din siya, isa-self-assess siya sarili niya. O sige nga, check ko nga yung output ko. Let's see ano yung pwede kong ma-improve. So, here, ginagawa niya, okay, sige, I'll do a self-assessment. Um, so, sabi niya dito, oh, nag-assume ako sa location, sinabi ko agad, Philippines, baka pala Manila yung gusto mong sabihin or other cities or region, 'di ba? So, nag-assess na siya kung ano yung mali sa output niya or anong assumptions niya. Then another thing is sinabi ko super flu, wala namang medical data na nagsasabi na may super flu. So, 'di ba? Na-identify niya na yung hallucination niya. Sa terminology naman, sinabi ko 'to, ta's dito ano, depende sa location, 'di ba? And then sa formatting, feeling ko masyadong maraming text, baka mas pa-shorten ko pa siya. And then now, meron na 'tong improved version niya. And then, you have to double check then. So yeah, it's a bit, again, philosophical, no? But you can use AI to assess its previous output. And then you just have to double check again. And then, oops, lastly, we have here the proactive prompting. And this is one of my favorite, no, especially when I like to brainstorm. I just say, ask me clarifying questions to ensure the output is tailored correctly. So, if ako sa sarili ko, hindi ako sure kung ano yung gusto kong gawin, I ask AI to ask me questions so that I will then be guided. So let's say I want to create a blog, but I'm not really sure the specifics of my blog. What I'm sure of is I want to create a blog about, I want to create a blog about New Year's resolution. Like that's the only thing I know of. But I don't know na parang I know I'm stuck. I don't know what to say. So I could then say to AI, ask me clarifying questions to ensure the output is tailored correctly, or ask me clarifying questions to help me also. You can say that also to help me. Let's see what AI would do. So now here, AI will then ask me questions like, sino ba target audience mo? Ano ba yung vibe ng blog mo? What's your primary goal? And ano yung content format? So just by asking those questions, no, AI is helping me with my idea. I would then answer here, okay, yung target audience ko siguro yung mga employees nakakabalik lang sa work. Yung vibe is, siguro, ano tayo, realistic, gano'n. Primary goal ko, depende, build a community. So from there, magkakaroon na ako ng idea, and then from there, I can write my own blog. So here, 'di ba, you're using AI to help you know or help you brainstorm your ideas. And that's what we call proactive prompting. Again, AI is meant to collaborate to us, and we can use these techniques on how we can do it. We can do iterative prompt refinement, again, continuously talking to AI. We can do chain of thought, and this is where you will ask AI to show their steps. Self-correction, you can ask AI to correct AI, and proactive prompting, you can ask AI to ask you. Now, I hope that helps, right, when it comes to human AI collaboration. Lastly, we have continuous learning. Again, we will provide the deck for this, but here are some readings that I suggest you take a look on, or perhaps you can use AI to summarize these white papers. And it really shows, no, like, what are the trends, this 2026 when it comes to work, also the new economy for futures, for the future of work in 2030. So this is World Economic Forum, and oops, Microsoft. Now, why do we need to continuously learn? This is the fifth and last part of our checklist. Kasi again, it is ever evolving. Everything around us is continuously evolving. And actually, the when you use AI right now, it is at its worst state because every day nag-i-improve yung AI. Kaya, you have to continuously adapt and learn for the new features. Parang ano lang yan, parang phone, it continuously updates. So you have to like adjust then. Now, how do you continuously learn? Everyone, ASEAN Foundation is very generous to us. They created this self-paced online learning. I really suggest na you guys take a look into this, register, go to the website, use the code, right, and watch the videos. And this is, if you want to learn more about AI and how it's going to help you, please do so. After you complete the modules, you'll also get a certificate. This is a separate certificate from this session, no? This is kasi based if patapos mo yung 15 videos. So, up to you. But if you want to have that certification as well, you have to complete the 15 videos. You can watch the 15 videos by going to this website. Again, it's aiclassasean.org. The code is GVF93. So for example, and by the way, make sure na you select the correct beneficiaries, no? Because the modules that you will receive is iba depending if ano ka sa beneficiaries na you selected. Just to show you how it looks like this, AI class ASEAN. So yeah, if you know Coursera, LinkedIn Learning, it's like that. And it's completely free, It's completely free. So that's what's great about it. You don't need to pay, unlike courses online na you have to. So yeah, here we go. There are the different courses. Right. So we have AI here. If you do content creation like ads, this is a good set of video for you. Yeah, combating in fake news, hawks and information, hooks, and AI developer if that is something that you want in the future. AI trend in business as well. So there's a lot of very helpful modules in here. So please feel free to go to the website and use the code. Just make sure that you select the correct beneficiary. And yeah, again, I want to emphasize, no, AI is a tool, just like any other tool. It is neither good or bad on its own, and what really matters is how we use it, and we can use it efficiently, effectively, if we know how it works. So from today, right, just to summarize everything, AI only knows what it has been taught. Again, the data it has been fed on. It is not inherently good or evil, and it can only give us the best possible answer based on instructions natin, but it is still up to us on how we will use the output through our human judgment, empathy, or context. Now, what's really important for us is to stay curious kasi if AI is impacting each and every one of us, you are now going to be advocates on how we can use it safely and effectively. Also, and always be critical kasi yun nga, AI can hallucinate, AI can generate fake images and videos. So, and anything that we do, diba, and anything that we see, always the first thing that we should do is to always ask ourselves if totoo ba to o hindi. And then lastly, be human, because that is one thing that AI cannot replace our values, right? And we must make sure, we are using AI as an assistant. We are not dependent on it. That's one thing that was mentioned earlier, and the people are like being dependent with AI. But the thing is, you can only be dependent if you don't know how to use it effectively. Because at the end of the day, AI is meant to remove those administrative things that we do so that we can focus more on the strategic actions that we have, also to a more balanced life. Okay. Now, at this juncture, I would like everyone to complete the post test. Oops, there we go. Again, the process is important if you would like to get the certificate. Yeah, the link is also out there now. So thank you all for that. And then if you have any other questions or if you wanna connect with me after this, feel free to do so. I'm more than happy to talk now to everyone about it. Okay, it's in the chat for people. If you've missed it, the pre-test and post-test is in the chat. It's just been sent. So yeah, feel free to complete it within the day so that we can process the certificates agad. And also feel free to connect with me. More than happy to do so. Now, at this point in time, let us actually check the questions. Okay, may mga questions po ba tayo? Feel free to go here. I'll try to answer it now. Okay, let's do all these questions first. Again, this is answer. Not particularly sure what the question is here. No, so it's a database. I think this is an example. Okay. Yeah, so I can answer questions here. For those na hindi pa nakapag-sagot, please feel free to, to go to slido.com and use the code. So I'll answer now. Oh, by the way, sorry, before we answer, can we stop recording?
Recording stopped.
Okay, thank you. By the way, nakikita ko sa ko ngayon, sa screen ko ngayon, parang there are folks na tawag dito, naka 3D generated videos. It's so cute. Wala lang. Natutuwa lang ako tumingin sa inyo, guys. Okay. So I was the one who posted about AI being frowned upon at work. The context is that there are some who tend to discredit your work upon knowing you used AI. Ah, that's interesting. I think this one, no, this is really more on the mindset of the company, of the place that you're working at. And it's true naman, there's going to be like different types of people or different types of companies. Then some are like AI positive, like very progressive. Let's use AI into our company. Some naman more hesitant, some talaga ayaw talaga. Now, um, my thoughts there is, my thought there is, depende talaga siya, no, on how you will use AI. But if we base it on data, on research, even just sa ASEAN, yung GDP has already increased to those that have used AI into their businesses, into their systems. Kasi yun nga, mas nagiging effective, mas nai-improve yung businesses nila. It's a difficult situation, I would say. Whoever posted this, I I empathize. It's a difficult situation. Kasi like at the same time, you don't want to ano naman, you don't want to go against the grain, but also you also want to be updated with the changes in the world. So yeah, it's hard if the goal is to change the mindset of those above you. But what you can do instead is to utilize it in any part of your life that is not governed by the place that you're working with. If ayaw talaga nila na gumamit ka ng AI. But perhaps no, you can also be an evangelist on how it can also improve daily workflow of where you are. There's a lot of things that you can automate kasi in AI like um ourselves we use AI to continuously update our distribution lists, to get news, external news, para hindi na kami manually naghahanap. So there's a lot of potential into it. So perhaps maybe you can evangelize. I know it's a big ask to say, but regardless, those that will not adopt will be left behind. I hope that helps. And I'm so sorry, but let me know. You can ping me if you want to talk more about it. Do you mean if AI depend on what is being fed on? Do people who use SOCMED create fake news, contribute to AI hallucination? But that is such a good question, and that is correct. Um, oops. The data that it is fed on, AI is fed on, there, ano kasi, parang may two houses where the where AI's data is based on. Yung isa online, and then yung isa is yung internal information na yung mga private information. Um, like let's say ng company. So, for example, yung company namin, may internal information kami, like our own processes. So, isa yun sa source, isa yun sa house. Then yung isang house is yung external, yung online thing. So, totoo yun na if the information outside is fake or then it can contribute to AI hallucination. That being said though, the trainers that are AI and machine learning engineers are getting smarter and smarter into feeding data. If you remember kanina sa video, it was said na true data is where it is. And our engineers and scientists are making sure now what is being fed into AI are through data only. Of course, it's gonna be there's gonna be like a process into it, but it is something as well na they've taken into consideration. Kasi na-observe na nila to na-observe na nila to actually, I think it was last year. And so now, they're now working in improving na ma-filter yung, what do you call that? Fake news. So yeah, good question. I view data all right po ba? So yeah, to go back into it, hindi lang data collection sa internet, pwede rin siyang sa internal. So here's an example. Gumawa ako ng chatbot sa company namin. Ang basis nun is information, standard operating procedures na we have in our drive. We use Microsoft, so ang term namin is SharePoint, but if you use Google, then Google Drive. So, gumawa ko ng chatbot, and yung basis ng information na yon is only information na galing sa drive. So that could happen then, no? Hindi lang siya based sa internet, it can be siloed na the information of that AI is it's gonna give output specifically lang to the documents that you fed it on. So you can do that. And then you don't need to code as well to create that. You can create chatbots easily now as well through AI. You don't need coding anymore. Um, Is there an AI that can generate good slideshows or presentations that is free? I think I have a slide here for resources. Let me check, no? Oops, hindi ko pala siya nalagay. So, ilalagay ko mamaya. I'm gonna have like a slide of like some AI tools that I use. But disclaimer, no, this is not, it's not a end all be all. Actually, let me actually find it, no, if it's here. Um, okay, it's here. Let me just put it up. Okay. So here are some stuff na I have on my end. So meron dito for like automation, if you wanna transcribe, internal memos and stuff. There's also like media creation, like scripts, voice overs, content creation, like presentations. So you can use it here. And again, disclaimer, no, hindi ako nag-endorse. Ito lang yung ginagamit ko. So feel free to double check na lang on your end, no, if you wanna try. Oops, bakit hindi na siya pumupunta doon sa kabila? Oops, okay, there you go. Actually, si Google then is actually getting good now. Let me show it, no. So here, let's say, mag-create ako ng new slide. Here sa right side, may nano banana na. Tapos it will help you na create like slides, image, infographic. Dati hindi to available, pero now like they've embedded it na. So you can easily like create slides here. So for example, no, I created this one about human AI collaboration. Hindi ko nga lang ginamit, pero it's an example of how you can now easily create slides. So here's an example of some slides na I created, no? So like example ito, sige nga, pagandahin mo nga yung isang slide. Sorry, yung internet ko, hindi siya masyadong malakas. Pero you get the point. There's also now a feature kay Google Slides where you can beautify the slides, right? And apart from other tools na we have. Then sa link ko, there's also gonna be like a free, there's also like tools for audio transcribing, so please double check na lang then. AI can also be destructive and demeaning, although to be edited, making the music. Yes, that is true. This is very true. That is why ako, no, personally, like, naka-private yung accounts ko na ayokong mapakain kay AI. So that's what I do. I don't just like simply post, especially din sa mga youth and children, no? Like in highly advised ko na wag i-post lalo pag bata pa kasi again, yun nga. This can happen. Now, how can this prevented? The companies themselves should really put guardrails on, you know, to prevent this. And if they don't do that, then maybe it's time to not use that tool para hindi magamit or mapakain kay AI yung data natin. But yeah, that is true. So we must always be careful with what we put online. Very much seems like moderate, isn't it on AI that the information seems like moderate or regulated some information? Um, I'm not sure what exactly about this. Do you mean na the information, yung source ng information is regulated? Or yung sagot ba ni AI yung kulang? If nakukulangan ka sa sagot ni AI, then what you can do is to really improve your prompt. And yun din yung experience ko. Nakukulangan ako kasi hindi maganda yung prompt ko. Another option is to change the tool that you're using. Kasi baka yung tool na ginagamit mo is hindi talaga siya ganun mag-generate ng information. Personally, yung favorite ko sa pag-generate ng information, no, is Anthropic. Kaya lang hindi siya free eh. Um, So, mahirap siyang ma-access ng everyone. But Anthropic is really good when it comes to generating information and also making sure that the data is private. So, Anthropic is one of the safest actually. If your question naman is about using or feeding AI regulated information, then I highly suggest na parang don't use make sure that you use enterprise tools or like yung tools, let's say, ng company mo kasi that would then, may guardrails dun versus yung tool lang sa cellphone mo na hindi mare-regulate yung information. Da, da, da. Could you suggest ways to teach the how to use of special needs education? And yeah, that is like a very good question then, no? Um, my suggestion is that in any way na in anything naman then na we do na we teach, we need to find what would be relevant to that sector, right? Ano ba yung relevant sa older generation natin, right? And then go from there. Perhaps what we can say here is that sa older generation, na actually po yung ginagamit nyo ngayon, AI power na yan, hindi nyo lang alam. Ito po, pwede niyong gawin pag ito yung gusto niyo and so on and so forth. So, kailangan nating alamin yung issues nila. What you can do perhaps is ask or observe what the common issues that they face and then start from there, solve their problem. I think that's the most effective way. Find a problem, solve it, and that would make the adoption much easier or much more convincing kasi nakapagpa-solve ka ng problem nila. I hope that helps. Hanggang pag ang government work to sell the credibility to the public that we serve. Okay. Good question then. I personally would love to have an AI government framework para we know, 'di ba? The parameters that we should work only for. Why is that the case? Yun nga, like I feel like the Philippines we're still in the process of it. We're still working on the laws for it. And the thing is AI continuously change. So parang ang tagal, alam mo yun. So sana mapabilis. That's my only hope. Or not my only, one of my hopes. That being said, hangganan sa paggamit ng AI. Of course, let's not use AI without double checking its output and without understanding its output. Let's say, you're drafting policies, right? If si AI na yung nag-isip ng everything, right? Naiintindihan niya ba talaga yung context mo? Kung bakit mo gustong gawin yon, kung para saan yung policy na ita-draft mo. So, make sure na always hindi 100% output ni AI. Kasi yun nga, hindi naman 100% din si AI. Have that human touch. Kasi you would know the context of what you want, the information that you have as well, and all of that. You can use AI definitely on administrative tasks. One use case of AI na people do right is yung mga announcements, it can be AI voice generated, tapos automatic na siyang napiplay. So, pwede yun. But also, let's not forget to always cite our sources. I feel like that's very important then, na to be transparent if it's AI generated or not. Um, Credibility comes in if we are transparent and if we always ensure that we put our personal touch into it, or rather, it's more of a human AI collaboration, not just AI alone. I hope that helps, but feel free to, again, to reach out to me and we can talk more about it. Because I've been talking to lots of LGUs then and they've been asking me similar questions. Do you offer sessions in the government mortgage that focus on tools that benefit yes, I do. I've done a couple na already. So if you want that, feel free to reach out to me. That said, if you want it to be more specific, then it wouldn't it's not gonna be outside it's gonna be outside hour of AI na. Kasi hour of AI is meant lang like the general thing that we are discussing right now. But if you want more in depth, if you want it more technical, it's going to be outside hour of AI now. So that's the thing. AI best suited for research. Again, dependent on your research. Let's say legal work. I forgot what it's called. Was it Jasper AI yung magaling sa legal? Wait, hold on. Let me find. Sorry. Um, is it Jasper? Uh, da, 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 da. Um, mm, I am forgetting. Oh, there you go. Harvey. Si Harvey. Sorry, ang dami kasi nalang nakakalimutan ko kung sino sila. Um, but that said, ayun nga, depending on what type of research you are doing, there are now specific LLMs models like Harvey that focuses on specific industries. So you just have to find that, and it's very easy now. Just like generate a prompt for it. My suggestion is, oh, you can also use artificialanalysis.ai, the link that I provided earlier. You can filter specific industries there so that you can see what LLMs would suit you. Other suggestions would be, of course, there's gonna be like suggestions online. Feel free to use it kasi human experience pa rin naman yung makakasabi kung ano talaga yung best suited. Ako personally, I use Anthropic for my research, but that is for my research. My research is related to commodities, so there we go. Can you describe how your experience with AI has developed over time and what guidance would you offer to elderly individuals regarding AI classifications? Describing my experience with AI, ako kasi, early adopter, like, ano yung PH setting? Sorry, if may nagtanong. So feel free to like add more context. But going back, yung experience ko with AI, I'm an early adopter. Pag may new thing, like, oh, new thing, let me try. So, ganun kasi yung mindset ko. That's why when AI was starting, I was able to position myself in the company, um, and then to branch into AI. Kasi for everyone's information, no, I started my work as a client service associate. So I really talk to clients. Yun yung main thing na ginagawa ko. Like pag may questions yung clients, ako yung sumasagot and everything. But since when AI or Gen AI to be specific started, since ako yung una sa mga nag-adopt, ako yung mga una na natuto at tinuruan ko yung team ko. And because of that, nagkaroon ako ng maraming opportunities, offers sa different team na AI related. So, hindi talaga ako technical. Hindi technical yung background ko, but because I'm always interested with technology, kaya naging technical ako. So then I started client facing and then I moved into a technical role because our company is building now AI teams. They saw that I'm active sa scene, and then here I am now, 3 years after. Yeah, so that's my experience. Guidance would you offer to elderly individuals regarding AI classifications? I'm not certain what you mean by AI classifications. But I guess one thing that is really important, no, to elderly individuals, I guess yung main concern ko dun is yung sa scams eh. Kaya I guess kailangan nating mapakita din sa kanila 'no, yun na yung mga negative impact kaya kailangan nilang maging careful online na hindi agad maniwala online kasi mas kapani-paniwala na siya ngayon. So, have that discussion, always point it out. Perhaps like you can even show, "Uy, look at this TikTok filter. Tingnan mo, oh, napabata ka niya. Naku, marami ng gano'n ngayon, marami ng puwedeng gawin. Baka sabi mong totoo pero hindi pala." So, kailangan nila ng hands-on interaction, show them what it can do so that like, they don't they be crit they get to be critical about it. They don't get to believe it agad. That's a really good question as well. Applicable ba sa Pinas yung sagot? So, yung question about sa chat about if yung sagot is pang ibang country, that is why very important sa prompt natin na i-ground mo siya na sabihin mong gusto ko yung like in the Philippine context. So that's why it's very important kasi yung default ng LLMs is based kung saan siya create, 'di ba? And usually LLMs now created sa US, sa Europe, sa China. We don't have our own LLM like a strong LLM pa, no? Sana nga if meron tech people here, um I'm not an AI ML engineer, but if anyone is in here, I hope that they could create our very own Philippine-based LLM para the info is really rooted into our culture and information. So that's one thing I'm hoping for. You just explain one. Can you rank the AI tools been used? Again, this is really dependent on how you use it. Go to artificialanalysis.ai if you want to see the ranking based on their IQ. So yeah, if you want the official assessment, punta ka dun, artificial analysis that dot AI. But if you're going to ask me personally, ano yung ginagamit ko? Um, Again, I use a lot, pero more so ginagamit ko is si Gemini, ChatGPT, and yung Claude by Anthropic, Anthropic, Perplexity, and then when it comes to coding, there's gonna be other tools na there like GitHub Copilot, Huggable, all of that stuff. Pero magkikip ako sa four, no? Si Anthropic, Perplexity, ChatGPT, and Gemini. And ako personally, this is how I divide it, no? I use ChatGPT pag like very quick, simple things lang na I want. Like, I don't know, like parang explain to me in English or what is the English of blah blah blah. Like correct my grammar, blah blah blah. So I just use ChatGPT for that, just like for a quick one kasi mabilis siya. Um, Then I use Gemini if I would like longer um output, more detailed, and if it's also like if I want to do it sa Excel or I want to prompt the drive that I have kasi yung maganda kay Gemini connected kasi siya sa Google Drive mo, sa Gmail mo. Ako like for example, nung before mag-end yung year, no, ginawa ko sa Gmail ko, nag-prompt ako na parang, "Uy, summarize mo nga yung mga receipts na na-receive mo in this account para malaman ko kung ilan yung gastos ko." Kasi like, for example, yung Grab mo, 'di ba? Pag nag-Grab ka, makaka-receive ka ng receipt sa email mo. So, yun yung, or even sa Shopee, pag mag-order ka sa Shopee, makaka-receive ka na din ng receipt sa email mo. So, yun yung prompt ko sa Gmail ko na, "Uy, pa-check nga ng mga receipts, give me a summary," para malaman ko kung ilan yung nagastos ko noong 2025. So, that's one good thing about Gemini kasi connected siya to a lot of other applications. And then yan, Anthropic for a much deeper research, yung sa work na talaga. And then Perplexity if I'm trying to look something online kasi yun naman yung selling point ni Perplexity, 'di ba? Then different pa if I'm creating agents and everything. So yun, hindi talaga ako I'm tool agnostic. I always find what's best. Which is more better? Or as a chat more as a free account lang po at hindi I don't think my free si Claude. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think free si Claude ever. But if it is, I haven't tried the free one or baka yun lang, hindi ko pa na-try yung free one. ChatGPT or Gemini, ito kasi yung thing, si ChatGPT kasi siya yung una kong ginamit kaya mas sanay akong i-open siya. Pero mas mahaba yung sagot ni Gemini kahit free siya. So, I guess depende sa'yo yun. Gusto mo ba mahaba yung sagot niya, like very lengthy, or gusto mo ba like direct to the point? Yun yung na-observe ko based on my observation lang. Pero ako, I use both. Kasi like I compare. I really cannot say, like for example, like pag may tanong ako sa career ko, like, ano na bang gagawin ko next? Ganyan. Both sila tinatanong ko. Tapos kino-compare ko. Ayun lang. Do we receive a certificate for this webinar? Yes, we do. Just answer pre-test and post-test, please. You will get it by next week. Oops, because we have to process everything pa. Hope that helps. Do you know any website that assists with deploying RAG on a local server? Local server. Interesting kasi we use cloud na as of the moment, no? I use Gemini. They have like this ADK. I use the AI Studio of Google. When I create agents that can do, I don't know, retrieval augmented generation or RAG, I've never tried pa sa local server. I've always used the cloud. So I cannot suggest, unfortunately, what to use there because I've been using the cloud because mabigat siya if I mean, wala akong masyadong space sa local server ko. I'm sorry. But it seems like the person that asked this question is technical because he knows about drag. Just great. Nice connecting with you. Do you use Grok AI for a while, and what is your experience? I actually do not use Grok AI, because I don't go to Twitter that much. Like I don't post anything to Twitter. So yeah, it's more of a personal. Oh no, why am I saying Twitter? It's X. So it's a more of a personal preference. So I cannot say because I don't have experience. Do you use Veo 3? Yes, I use Veo 3. It's really good for me. And even like Accenture, they're using Veo 3. Because I had like this we were on a talk. Accenture showed na they created this ad para sa IKEA using Veo. It was like really good, and then they showed us how to effectively use it. What's your insight kay DeepSeek? Actually, inintroduce din siya sa amin. I can see na it was like really good. Especially yung ano niya, the other one, the QWen, yung para makikita yung like sa tindahan kung ano na yung kulang, like hindi mo na kailangan magbilang, automatically si AI sasabihin na sa'yo na, uy, sa grocery nyo, kulang na ng ganito, ganyan. Like, very helpful yun. That was very good. But apart from that, I haven't used it kasi restricted din siya sa amin. So, yun lang. Hindi ko pa siya ma-play around dahil it's restricted to us. But we're gonna meet with them soon, this February, and perhaps on the next session, I can tell you more about it. Oh yeah, sorry, we are almost out of time. I'm so sorry. Maraming tanong, everyone. But yeah, if may tanong man akong hindi nasagot, feel free to reach out to me. More than happy to help. I always like to talk about these things. And thank you all so much. Thank you, DICT, for the opportunity. And I'll give it back to Sir Ralph. Thank you.